Welcome, everybody, to Wall Street Reporter's Investors Discovery Day live stream, January 7th, 2021. We have an exciting returning company for you today, Fabled Silver and Gold. Peter Hawley. Peter, welcome back.
Happy to be here, Jack, and to you and the people listening, Happy New Year's, and I wish you all health, wealth, and happiness for 2021.
Perfect. So, Peter, so the main thing is, our audience, obviously, they're looking for those 10x to 100x winning stocks. And let's, you released some impressive news yesterday, some results from, the big silver project in Mexico. So can you kind of explain to our audience what it's about, maybe in layman's terms, explain to us, what this means and where you're going from here?
Absolutely, Jack, and I'll back up a little bit to set up the groundwork for what we're going to discuss. Is the property, the Santa Maria property itself, it has little to no modern exploration on it. And the previous owners, what they did was they came in, they said, "Oh, listen, here's a vein on surface. We can follow it so far. Let's go drill it," and they did. And they came out with some great results. And then they said, well, let's go underground and have a look at it. And, okay, that looks very good. Okay, let's take a bulk sample and see how it behaves metallurgically and if we make some money. And they did that twice. And everything worked out. And then then I came into the picture and made them an offer they couldn't refuse, as they say in the movies. And we ended up with it. And the reason why is because the basic fundamental groundwork that should have been done wasn't done and wasn't done. And why, I don't know, and I'm sure they have their own reasons. But the long and the short is a resource was defined down to about minus 125 meters vertically over a strike length of 600 meters. But, and that's what they concentrated on. But on the property, there was known, or is known now, 19 other veins. There's 21 veins, and the 19 other veins have never been drilled or anything else. So I proposed a theory very similar to the mine I found actually just over the other side of the Sierras in Sinaloa State, is that the Parral carbonate basin we're seeing is very similar to what I saw in Coastal. And as such, there's certain, if you want to call it signatures, that it should have, if I'm right. As part of ground truthing that, the first thing we did was the first ever geophysical survey. And the thing about the geophysical survey, and we did two types. So we did one that was called total field magnetics. There's a lot of things you can do off of that. And then there's IP, which looks at resistivity, chargeability, metal factor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the IP can look down minus 500 meters below the surface, or half a kilometer. So we did this over the entire property. And as my previous discussions, I believe that there was, let's say, multi-pulses of mineralization, and there's structural controls, et cetera, et cetera. So when we did this IP survey, I was actually totally shocked at what we saw, because it was better than my wildest dreams. And as such, 11 new anomalies were outlined. So, and that leads us up to why we're talking today.
Okay. So wait, so Peter, so in layman's terms, well, first, I think for the new people in the audience, explain to them a little bit about your background, because I mean, you've been at this for a while. You've had a number of significant successes, in the area. So tell us about your background, and then in layman's terms, how big is this opportunity, and basically, when is the stock going to $5?
From your lips to God's ears.
The light is coming behind you. You look very saintly. So this is very auspicious.
I myself, I'm an engineer and a geologist. On top of that, I've been working for over 35 years. Probably, I don't know, 25 of the 35 has basically been concentrated in Mexico. I guess my original claim to fame, or by my own, if you want to call it that, was the creation of a private company in 1998 called Scorpio Mining Corporation. Went public in the year 2000. 2008, we had our first mine mill inauguration there. And today, the company, well, I guess it was about 2012, 2013, America's Gold and Silver bought us out. And that was, I think the original financing was done at 40 cents, and it was $4 plus when we were taken out. But they are on the fourth deposit of the land holdings that we had that I
So you've had a number in your career, a number of 10 baggers, 20 baggers, mines that you've put into production in this area.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, so I guess the audience wants to know, is this going to be the next big Peter Hawley success story? Because
well, I'll tell you one thing, Jack, and this is the honest goodness truth to either the shareholders or yourself or anybody that knows me, is I have absolutely no intention of wasting your time or wasting my time on trying to make a mine out of something that it's not. You get people that keep, drilling holes. I mean, I've seen people every time you have a resurgence in this, people come back and there's properties that come out of the woodwork. I mean, I used to say to some of these people, "Are you sure there's any more mineralization there?" I said, "You've drilled it so much, there's probably nothing left in the ground." I mean, it'll never make a mine. It hadn't then, it hasn't. Normal rule of thumb from discovery to production is 7 to 8 years. Normal rule of thumb, if you have a real mine. And this thing has all the original signatures, if you want to call it that it could be a very high grade mineable deposit. And hence, as I previously discussed, over a period of 4 years, the previous people had drilled 9,600 meters. We started drilling in December, and by May we will have drilled at minimum 8,000 meters. So basically, what they did in 4 years, we're doing it in 6 months.
Okay.
And so in 6 months, if you want to know if you have a mine or not, I'll have a very good idea probably.
Okay. And how significant do you think that the opportunity? How significant is this project? The Santa Maria mine here.
I think it's significant for various reasons, and the first reason is that if you look at the other silver explorers in Mexico, not all of them, some of them have very good properties, but other ones, they're intersecting mineralization and everything else, but the mineralization is 1 meter, 3/4 meters, 1.5 meters, blah, blah, blah. Grades, occasionally they have bonanza grades. More than likely, most of the time they're 200 grams, 300 grams. And that's fine, but it's very hard to make up ounces. I think the beast that we're looking at is tens of meters in width. And if I'm right, and according to what the IP has shown us, that there could be more of these east-west trending veins other than the Santa Maria vein.
Should we pop up the map on the screen?
Yeah.
Talk about and we'll go into let's see here. Okay, so this is gonna so Peter, can you explain to us what we're looking at over here right now? And this is from yesterday. This is from yesterday's news release.
Yeah. So what we're looking at a plan view of the property. We're looking down at it from a bird's eye view. And all the weird little colors you see and everything else, that's actually the magnetic signature below the property. But placed on top of that, you'll see a total of 11 anomalies in kind of bars, and some of them have been circled with numbers on them. And those are the IP anomalies. What we did was we went ahead and we took 26 samples on the property over these IP anomalies. Now, To be perfectly honest, I didn't expect to get much values at all. Usually, when you're looking at an IP anomaly or something that's below the surface, you can imagine these things are anywhere from, I don't know, 50 meters or 150 feet down to 300 feet below the surface. So to have some sort of surface expression of mineralization or alteration or something to say, yeah, you know, this is, gee, it's way below us, but it's showing something here on surface. So I was thinking, like, you know, we're really lucky we would have in the area of PPBs and in metal content. But long and behold, Jack, you know, some of our sampling right over these anomalies where they're predicted, that you would never ever think about sampling, turned up, you know, close to an ounce of silver. And that ounce of silver, the source of it is sitting, you know, hundreds of feet below you. So if it's leaked up that distance and it's giving you this anomalous silver zone, gee, you know, what's down there at depth where it's supposed to be?
What? Okay, so I guess the main question is, okay, hang on, let's get to some audience. I mean, so let's get into some audience questions here. What's like how much, you know, how much silver, you know, I guess is how much silver could there be potentially here in layman's terms?
Gee, I don't know, because we've just finished our third drill hole as of yesterday. So if you're asking me that question after a week or two or three or four, I got a few drill holes into it. But the way, what I can say for a benchmark for everyone to understand this is, for a deposit to start becoming meaningful, it's usually about 50 million ounces of silver you want.
50.
50, yeah.
Okay.
If you're approaching 100 million ounces, you have a first class silver deposit. Anything over 50 million, you're going to catch a lot of attention of people looking at you. So that's kind of the threshold of what you're aiming for. As I said, you know, in the next total of 6 months, we'll drill about 8,000 meters. This is designated at not only building out resources, but also showing the potential at depth, because this thing has only been drilled down to 125 meters below surface. I can say that I, as noted in the news release, that we started a drilling program. At the time the news release was out, we completed holes 1 and 2. Late yesterday, we just finished hole number 3. And so the way these holes were designed, Jack, is we stepped to the east of the known resource. So the known resource of 4.2 million ounces silver equivalent is over an area of about 600 meters in length and down to a depth of about 125 meters. So we stepped out 200 meters to the east, based on what I believe is going to be a intersection of a north trending structure with east trending Santa Maria vein. And we drilled 3 holes from one station. First hole was at minus 45 degrees. Next hole underneath that at minus 65 degrees. And the next hole underneath that at minus 78 degrees. And it wasn't supposed to be 78 degrees, it's supposed to be 75 degrees, but someone screwed up. It really doesn't change anything at this point in time. But if someone was to ask me, why did you pick a weird number? It wasn't picked, it just, someone didn't do their job along the way. But the thing what I'll say about this is, with success, not only have you extended the property 200 meters to the east and added ounces already, but the third hole is or was proposed to hit the Santa Maria structure at minus 350 meters vertically below surface. That's almost 3 times the current resource. So you can imagine now, you're going 3 times at depth and you're starting to go sideways. So can you add ounces? Absolutely. Are they big ounces? Could be.
Okay, so as you said, the truth machines are at work. The drilling has started.
They are. Good time. Good time.
What and what? So you have three holes you're drilling right now, right?
Yeah, we drilled 3 holes. The assays from the first hole went in before Christmas, Jack. Assays from the second hole went in before New Year's. And I imagine it'll probably be another 2-3 days before the guys submit the assay from the or the core for assay.
And when can we see the results back?
I believe what will end up happening is the 3rd week of this month, you'll see our first drill results coming out, and a kind of a interpretation of what they represent in the greater scheme of things. And then on for every 10 days to 2 weeks, there'll be constant drill results coming in.
Okay. So this will be an exciting time. So we're going to see basically, it's again the truth. The truth machines are at work. So let's get to some audience questions here. We got a couple of questions that are kind of similar. So ML is asking, what would be the wow factor for bigger corporate?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. The ultimate one was if I had 50 million ounces of silver or greater, and we just talked about that. But the other one is if we start intersecting very broad or wide zones of mineralization, they will certainly add ounces in a hurry, and people will pay attention to that because it's just common sense. It's a lot easier to mine something economically that's much larger than it is a very skinny little thing.
Okay, so I guess the question about would $80 an ounce silver kind of change the? I guess would that change things for you?
Well, yes, it would. But having said that, $80 silver, then all the tired old silver mines that the other guys have right now are making money like crazy. So maybe they're not going to go shopping. So
I think if we had even $50, even $40 silver, just with what you have now, the stock would be 50 cents.
There's a direct correlation. You can watch our silver.
And these markets, they're going to explode. This is there's look, there's a couple of again, gold, silver. These things are. I think most people agree now they're heading north. You have Bitcoin, which is almost 40,000 right now, which is based on, But look, it's going to go high. But then at some point, people are going to go back to gold, silver, and you're going to have 3,000 plus gold. $50 silver. I think again, some of the gurus who've had on on a program, they're looking for $100 an ounce silver. So why not? Let's. Question here. Steve is asking, are you doing anything? I guess he's asking, are you doing anything with Sprott?
At this point in time, we're not. And I actually know Eric personally very well over numerous years, and he was investors in some of my other endeavors. And proud to say he's made money. We're a little too small, and it's kind of a show me stage right now. So if this drilling is successful, as I believe it will be, we could certainly see maybe Eric coming in as a investor. Yes.
Okay. A couple questions. People asking. Do you have enough cash on hand to, carry out your drilling program?
And more. And considering where the share price is right now, we're trading around 10 cents or 11 cents or whatever Canadian peso, I should say, probably. The original financing that we did earlier this year was at 5 cents. So some people have made 100% already, but there's $9 million of warrants in the money now. So whether they'll be exercised by the time the drill program is finished or not, I have no idea. And I will tell you that yes, I do have more than enough money to complete this drill program. But if we're having success and I raise additional money or whatever, I'm not stopping.
So there's not going to be so there's no everything's fully funded. There's no dilution. Okay.
Yeah, we're in great shape.
Okay. A bunch of people asking about U.S. listing. what's happening over there?
Yeah, we've completed all the following requirements for an OTC listing. So it's out of our hands. It's actually into the regulators to look at that. Estimation on that, Jack, is the middle to third week of January for trading on the OTC.
What about gold?
Well, that's a great question Hanny put up there, because this is a silver gold property, or a gold silver property, whichever way you want to do it. I don't talk about the gold very much, but it's gold silver. You'll have 6 grams of gold, and you'll have 1.2 kilos of silver. There's a relationship to it. The higher the grade of silver, the higher the grade of gold, vice versa. I think what would be fun to do, Jack, someday is, once the drilling starts, we'll start a not a betting game. I'd probably get in trouble if I do that, but say, name the highest assay. Is it 1 kilo? Is it going to be 2 kilos? Is it going to be 5 kilos? Take a guess at what the highest number will come out of drilling.
Here's this is a bit of a softball question, but I'll ask you. Okay, so if deposit will be 50 million ounces, actually, it's a legitimate question. So if you have a 50 million ounce deposit, how would that? What do you think that would? How would that reflect in the share price? So, like, what are we at? 20 something?
Okay, well, I guess the question, I'd have to answer the question with a question. If it was a exploration project with 50 million ounces, then you haven't done the economics on it to determine, what your profit margin is going to be. If it's a deposit with 50 million ounces, advanced stage with a pre-feasibility study and all that other stuff, then you know what your internal rate of return is going to be, you know what your cash flow estimate, your cost per silver per ounce, et cetera, going to be, So, I can't answer that. I wish I could, but I can't. I don't know.
Okay.
It would be a lot higher. That's for sure.
North of, let's say, north of $2.
Oh, that's reasonable. Yeah, sure. Sure.
So if you have, okay. So this guy's saying 7. Okay. I haven't done the math. But okay. So Peter, things are looking good. At this point, essentially, we're going to be watching the assays coming in.
Yep.
The assays coming in over the next few weeks. So here we got assays coming in. We got more drilling results coming in the next 6 weeks, probably, right?
No, you'll have assays in approximately 2 weeks for the first drill hole, 10 days, 2 weeks after that, another hole, and then it just keeps a chain. It just keeps going.
Yeah. So more assays, more drilling. It's gonna be.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do and I haven't seen this other companies do this or not, and I've instructed the chaps to do this, is that we're going to photograph the core at extremely high resolution in its entirety from top to bottom. And as we get the results in, we're actually going to overlay those results on the drill core, that you can actually say, if I said, okay, this ran 1,000 grams, you'll be able to see the start to the finish. If I said this was 50 meters of whatever, you'd be able to see the whole 50 meters of what it actually looks like in its physical form. So I think that'll be quite educational to the public.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to get a geology lesson in a few weeks.
Yeah, or sometimes they call it geofantasizing.
Perfect. Okay, so things are looking good. Okay, so I guess let's we're gonna have you back once you have the assays come back. But I guess at this point, in kind of to sum things up, our favorite question, always at these interviews is, at this point in time, based on where you are right now, what would you say are the top 3 reasons why investors should consider FCO today?
Okay, 1 is track record. Number 2 is, people have heard this probably before, grade is king. So no matter what the metal prices, if you have high grade, you will survive the day. So I think this is a property that grade is king, and it will be demonstrated. And I guess thirdly is, I spoke about management, but does management have experience or success in the country that they're operating in? And in this case, yes, I do. I know Mexico quite well. So
Okay.
those would be the three things, Jack.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Peter, on that note, I want to thank you. We're going to catch up with you after the next assays come in.
Yeah, next time we'll bring popcorn and I'll show you the pretty pictures.
Fantastic. Okay, Peter, thank you again.
Okay, thanks, Jack.